I don't have all the answers. But I can tell you, as someone who's carried a lot of pride in his silence, that humility does not come naturally to most men. We were raised to swing first, to fix, to win, to prove. But by the end of this, guys, I hope that something inside of you softens a little bit, enough to realize that real strength doesn't come from force. It comes from restraint, from the pause before the strike, from bowing before you swing your sword. And when I say that, I want you to notice what stirs in you. Maybe just take a deep breath for right now and let your shoulders drop. You guys, that bow, that quiet moment before the action, that's the difference between reaction and wisdom, between ego and leadership. Now, somewhere deep down, you already know that. And maybe you've lived it. That split second when you caught yourself right before saying something that you couldn't take back. Think about that moment. What did it teach you? And when I started doing this work with men, that's what I began to notice, that we all have that moment, the space between the feeling and the fallout. And some men use it to destroy, others use it to build. The ones who grow are the ones who've learned how to bow before they act. And when I was younger, I swung at everything. Every disagreement felt like a threat. Every feeling of disrespect needed to be corrected. But looking back, all that reaction was just fear wearing the mask of strength. It was my own insecurities pretending to be leadership. The sword wasn't the problem, you guys. It was the man holding it. And a sword in the hands of a man without humility, that leads to destruction. A sword in the hands of a man who bows first, though, that's protection. That's love guided by wisdom. And that's what authentic masculinity really is. In my opinion, authentic masculinity is power under control. The bow is the willingness to listen before you act, to feel before you decide. Again, I'm not a biblical type of person. I'm not overly religious, but Jesus, he was a guy that said, "Blessed are the poor in spirit." And I used to think that meant being broken or weak. But it means being open, being teachable. Teachable in a way that allows you to empty yourself in order to be filled again. It means you stop leading from pride and you start leading from presence. You might even pause here for a second and ask yourself, where do I need to bow right now? Maybe it's with your partner. Maybe it's with your kids, with your temper, with your body. You guys, write it down if it helps to see it clear. Put it in the comments down below. The world doesn't need louder men, okay? It needs humbler men. Men who can bow before they swing. And that's what I work with men on this every single day. How to build that kind of strength. Not the loud chest beating kind. The grounded kind. The kind that doesn't need to prove anything. And it's wild because the moment a man learns to quiet his mind before reacting, everything changes. His relationship softens. His kids start to feel safe again. Even his body starts to rest. And you can feel this truth echo through every single tradition. Even in Buddhism, they talk about emptiness. The space where ego dissolves and compassion begins. In Hinduism, Krishna tells Arjuna that humility is a divine quality, one of the marks of real strength. All of these guys, Jesus, Buddha, Krishna, it doesn't matter. They're all describing the same type of man. They're giving us a blueprint. Be a man who pauses. Be a man who bows, the man who listens before he acts out. And that's the kind of man who can be trusted with power because his heart is quiet enough to hear the truth beneath the noise. And maybe you've had one of those moments lately where you felt the urge to react instead of you catching yourself. Like you caught yourself and you breathed, you waited. That's the moment when something new is being born in you. That's what I help men nurture in these one-on-one conversations, because once you learn how to hold that pause, you start to see your whole life differently. You stop seeing everything as a fight and you start recognizing the invitation hiding inside of your triggers. You guys, that's the pause. It's not weakness, it's sacred ground. It's where you ask yourself, is this coming from my pain or is it coming from my purpose? Am I swinging because I'm triggered or because I'm protecting something that matters? And that's where growth lives, in the heartbeat between feeling and reaction. You see, little boys, they swing to prove that they're strong, but men bow to remember that they're human. And when you understand that, you stop needing to win every single argument. You start leading with curiosity instead of control. And that's when your strength becomes safe for the people that you love. You know, I've sat across from men who've come into these conversations ready to fight the world, and they left ready to listen to it. Sometimes it happens in one session, and sometimes it takes months. But it always starts with that one thing: humility. The courage to just take a fucking second to pause. Because real power isn't in the noise. It's in the stillness that comes before it. You guys, humility comes before honor. Quiet comes before clarity. Surrender comes before strength. And maybe that's what that guy Jesus was saying. Blessed are the poor in spirit, because when your pride empties out of you, wisdom has room to move in. And maybe that's why so many of us are broken. I mean, being broken open right now, because life is cruel. Because life's trying to make space for something new. Life is kicking your ass because it needs you to wake up. To wake up to something that's honest and something that's real. So before you swing, you guys, bow. Before you speak, breathe. Before you fight, feel. That's where the real strength lives. Not in the strike, but in the stillness before it. And if this met you where you are today, just know you don't have to do this work alone. Some of the deepest breakthroughs that I have ever seen come from sitting across from another man and talking honestly, without the masks. Sometimes one conversation can change everything. So when you're ready, find a way to start that conversation, please, whether it's with me or another man who's doing this kind of inner work. The point is, don't stay isolated. Humility doesn't grow in silence, it grows in connection. Because the world changes when more of us remember to bow before we swing.